What's up, guys? I'm Holly and welcome back to my YouTube. So I know it sounds kind of made up for somebody who just started a channel, doesn't have a big following, to say that they get this question all the time or they get asked this piece of advice all the time. But really, I have gotten this question so many times on a variety of different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, people asking, how do I balance strength training with running? And I think half of you are asking from a looks perspective, how am I okay with kind of being a blend of both? Because usually you stick in one category or the other. I tend to see that, especially with CrossFit. You either do CrossFit or you do running. And then the other half of you are asking from pure performance standpoint, how do I feel good about my performance in both of those categories without feeling like a failure or less than in one of them? So today I'm going to cover everything. I'm going to talk about my diet, my workouts that I do weekly, and then how I blend everything with my normal life to feel normal, happy, full, all that stuff. And then if you guys have questions after this video and we need to do a follow-up, I absolutely will. So let's jump right in. We're going to actually start this video with diet, because as much as we want to believe that even really tough workouts done consistently can account for all of our body composition, we all know that what we put into our body is, one, responsible for our long-term health and longevity, and then two, it is how we fuel those workouts. And we all know the difference between eating well and timed right before workout and not doing that. So I'm going to get into the details of this. I will be doing a video eventually about what I eat in a day to show you actual meals that I make. Some of the blogs have shown that, but today is just going to be bullet points about things I think about in my daily eating habits for the week. So I am going to make a what I eat in a day or week video and show you guys actual meals that I make. But for this video, I'm going to go down the bullet points of how I approach my eating, healthy and unhealthy, and how I balance the two. First point I want to make is that I'm not a restrictive eater. I don't have a list of things that I don't touch no matter where I am. No, I don't eat that. I don't allow that in my body. It's a temple, blah, blah, blah. I don't do any of that. Obviously, if you have allergies or restrictions, I am not knocking those. I'm just saying for myself personally, unless I don't like the taste of it, I don't count it out as not an option at all. The second thing is I genuinely enjoy healthy food, and I think maybe part of it was how I was raised. You know, we always had vegetables in every meal, but I love vegetables, and I make sure they're basically in every meal I eat, including breakfast. That's a really big point I make, because I actually use them to increase how full I feel rather than going to more carbs for that. I think when we're little, we get into this headspace of like, we remember that certain snacks made us feel good, which we associate with feeling full. But then we grow up and we realize that like those crackers or that white bread didn't actually satiate us at all. It was just kind of fun to eat, and it really did nothing energy-wise for us, if nothing made us crash. So I use vegetables. One, they taste good. I know I'm getting my nutrients and vitamins in, but two, they help fill out a meal. So if I'm ever more hungry after eating what I already had on my plate, if I add more vegetables, I can feel more full. Also from a fiber standpoint, I get a little bit more bloated, honestly. It feels like you're eating more without that crazy extra calorie density. Quick example of this, I started doing this about 2 years ago, but I started adding just salad greens on the side of every meal as an addition, especially if I was like having dinner after a tough workout or a long run. I realized that the 3 things on my plate, which I'll get into more, but like protein, carb, and some veggie or whatever, sometimes I was like, if I just have an extra bowl of salad greens on the side, I feel like I have way more food on my plate, even though it's just salad without really anything in it. And so I made it a habit to kind of keep including that at least once a day into my diet plan. And I feel like that was a life hack for me that really just made everything feel like more when originally maybe it felt like less. This brings me to the next point of protein. So I am not a numbers girl. I don't weigh my food. I don't measure it out into certain things. I have looked all of this up though, so I'm aware of how much I need to be getting generally, as far as like a fist size of this or 2 fist sizes of this or whatever. But if I get numbers crazy with anything, this includes running and this includes weighing myself or any of that or measuring, I promise I will fall off the wagon. I don't like setting up expectations that I can then fail. For a lot of people, this is quite the opposite reaction. They're like, if I don't have those expectations, I'm going to fail. But for me, I know myself and I can feel in my clothes how I feel energy-wise throughout the day if I'm doing things right, and that's enough for me. So I'm gonna say that for the protein portion of this, you might be surprised to know that I don't take protein powder. I don't eat a lot of red meat, and I really don't actually eat meat every day. So it's kind of interesting. I'm a super muscular, kind of bulky person. A lot of people might say, I've gotten plenty of derogatory comments about that as well, but I don't force protein down my throat every day, like at all. I think people genetically are built certain ways, and when I get to the workout portion, we'll talk about what I do to maintain muscle, but I am not force feeding myself protein throughout the day. So I just want to say that right now. I will usually have their ground turkey, salmon or some type of fish, or sardines. Red meat maybe once a week. I love ground bison. Maybe I'll make a steak like every couple of weeks, once or twice. Tuna, chicken, obviously. Those are the main things I stick with. I'm a really basic person with those, so whenever I season any of that meat, it's garlic, salt, and pepper, really nothing else. Sometimes really just salt and pepper. I don't need a lot on it. I don't do any sauces. That is a really big thing with my diet. I think I've noticed is I'm just not a sauce person. So I think the most extreme thing I use is the Yellowbird sriracha. It's like some healthy or organic sriracha, whatever. And I'll literally do drops of it on like my breakfast. But I like things plain. I always have. So that's another big part, and maybe why I save some calories on meals, but probably not a big portion of that. When it comes to carbs, I'm a big rice person. I spent many years trying to just take myself off rice and not eat it, and I convinced myself that I was skinnier when I wasn't eating it. So I would try to look at like sweet potatoes or like whole wheat toast or just anything that wasn't rice, because I liked rice too much, which made me feel like it must be bad for me. I have realized since that actually, in combination with my protein and with a bunch of veggies, makes me feel perfect as is. So why mess with it? I don't eat it every day. I have that rule with all my food. If I eat it every day, I think I have a problem. So I'm trying to just always mix things up and not be dependent on any one thing. But yeah, I love rice. I do brown rice. Now I've incorporated white rice. Actually, a lot of the athletes I follow eat white rice. I do gluten-free waffles. I just like the way they taste. If they had gluten, I'd probably be like, okay, cool, but like, I really don't care. And then the potatoes thing, I tried with sweet potatoes. I just don't like them, but I know that they're a great slow burn carb source, especially around your workouts, which brings me to my next point with carbs. I try to center mine around my workouts. So my biggest meal is either before or after my biggest workout. That is a rule I live by. It kind of just happens naturally. I'm either starving after the workout or I have enough time to burn that before I go do it, if that makes sense. One more point I want to make on carbs is that, as you can see, I'm not scared of them. My days are really busy from a physical standpoint. My job is really active, both with training, filming, just running around in general, and then my own workouts. They're just long and they're hard. So I can't expect myself to perform at work or in my own workouts without them. They are an actual energy fuel source. I have learned that on every run I've ever done. Without them, we can't really succeed. So don't be scared of carbs. I don't care who's watching this. Just don't be scared of them. Know that they do something for you as long as you treat them with respect and don't lean on them too hard just for the sake of them tasting good. This brings us to the fun part of the diet section, which is that I am a normal person. I'm proud of being a normal person, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I love fitness and I love fun and I love just being able to do what I want to do and feel good about it. So I would say I eat 80% healthy, 20% not, and that 20% not is the room to have fun and make spontaneous decisions and not feel bad about it. I would say that being in control of how you eat and laying the foundation with that 80% during the week or whenever you make those healthy meals is the key to being in control of your eating in general and not feeling like you're a slave to any one food group or any one amount of calories or whatever it is. The way to not feel restricted by that is to know that you're in control. So my 20% section is my fun one. If I come home from a Saturday night and I'm drunk and I want to order a burger and fries, I'm starving, I do it and I wake up not feeling bad about it in the next morning. That being said, I kind of operate on sort of a plus minus system. So if I know I had that burger and fries and maybe I wasn't planning on it or whatever, I'll start the next morning with a walk or at least a bunch of water to get myself started in one other healthy direction and kind of just plus and minus that. But I'm not sitting there all day thinking about how shitty of a person I am because I had a burger and fries when I didn't plan on having a burger and fries. One final point that I think changed the game for me with eating was coffee. We all drink coffee, most of us do, and if you do it every morning, that is a thing that can add up if you let it. So this is funny, I've drank black coffee for many, many years. My whole family does, so I feel really lucky that I picked up that trait from them. But lately, Starbucks cold brew with sweet cream has been my downfall. And I just want to point out an example of that plus minus. If I go get Starbucks, I won't have ice cream that night. So if I'm getting something with sweet cream or dairy and all that in the morning, I won't have ice cream at night. So I'm just showing you choices, people. And so that is what I'm going through with the coffee right now. But otherwise, if you can drink it black, I highly recommend. That really saved me so many calories in the morning. And I feel like over daily habits of that, you just honestly feel better. Let's talk about workouts now. So I'm gonna lay out my kind of weekly workout plan for you guys, and then I'm gonna break down what those workouts look like. Here's the deal. I do CrossFit. That should come as no surprise based on the way I look or maybe the way you have seen me training. I don't know. I also love long distance running. I did my first 100 miler in October. Before that, I had done several 50Ks, couple 50 milers, and lots of marathons. I really, really enjoy long endurance running and CrossFit short, crazy, kill yourself workouts. Those two things make me really happy. And so in combination, I can guarantee that each week of training is gonna be a win for me. I'm going to talk about these workouts specifically because you guys asked how I balance running and strength training, and I want you to understand how they help each other, but also how they affect each other. So when it comes to CrossFit, I think there's a big misconception a lot of people have with it, that you're going in and you're lifting really heavy weight and you're sitting around quite a bit, and when you're not lifting the heavy weight, your heart rate's just not really up at all. That is a huge misconception because I will tell you that most of the CrossFit workouts I go to, and I'm talking 90+%, leave me really exhausted, really, really exhausted. And that could be from a number of things. Heavy lifts, for one thing, take a major toll on the body. If you've ever done those, you know how hungry you are after you do them. That's a really big sign that you're putting your body under stress, and maybe it doesn't look like a 400-meter sprint type of stress, but it is a different type of stress, and you're literally putting your body under load repeatedly for many reps, and that is a big deal. So that's definitely part of it. The second part is that we do a Metcon almost every single workout, at least at my gym. And a Metcon is metabolic conditioning, just combined into one word. And that is my favorite part of CrossFit. These are those 15, 20-minute pieces that include 3 or 4 movements. You're going as fast as you can. You're dealing with movements you like, dealing with movements you're not good at, and continuing to move through them at a really high effort level until you're done. 15 to 20 minutes feels really short if you're talking about being on like the elliptical or a stationary bike, but when you're talking about moving through really intense things like burpees, box jumps, power cleans, push press overhead with heavy weight, so many different things that can challenge your entire body to move from one thing to the next and to stay at a certain pace or keep up with someone next to you is really taxing. So anytime I'm at the CrossFit gym, my heart rate is spiking, at least for part of the session, and I'm left pretty drained. I will even go so far as to say I cherry pick. I go to the workouts that make me the most gassed, honestly. I really do. So when I'm in the gym, I am also really, really burning and getting that heart rate up. When it comes to running, again, like I said with the diet, I am not a numbers person, never have been. Mileage and trying to hit certain speeds and numbers and marks takes the joy out of it for me. I know this about myself, and so I've never treated running that way. I noticed that I enjoyed increasing the amount of time I was out on a run for, if that makes sense. And that really comes from a level of pride, I guess. The first time I hit 5 miles, the first time I hit 8 miles or 10 miles, it felt like the biggest deal in the world to me. And that's kind of how I got stuck on continuing to build mileage. But every week, I'm not sitting down thinking, okay, I want to do 4 runs. This one needs to be this percentage of race pace. This needs to be what I would run a half marathon at. This needs to be 2 miles warm up, 4 miles tempo, 2 miles not. This is really how a training plan works. And if you're a brand new runner or you're an intermediate or advanced runner looking for a certain speed or time at your race, you absolutely need to play the numbers game. I am not saying you don't. I am not going to my personal races or adventures or challenges looking for a certain time or speed. And that's the difference. So for me, I just want time on feet. I enjoy running, and if I can do some at a higher speed and some at a lower speed just to challenge myself in different ways, that's what I'm gonna do. So I will tell you, I probably go to the CrossFit gym 4 times a week, and I run 2 to 3 times a week. Definitely a shorter, maybe quicker run, a longer run, and then that third one can kind of be whatever. I'm trying to work more track days in. I was doing that at one point, kind of mix it up. But I don't get mad at myself if I only got 1 run in that week, because I like to run, I like to do my strength workouts, and if I'm doing one of those things, I know that I'm gonna leave happier after I complete the workout. All right, we've made it to the meat and potatoes of this video, why you guys asked this question in the first place. How do CrossFit and running, or strength training and running, affect each other from a performance standpoint and from a look standpoint? Because if you're watching this video right now wondering if you're supposed to look like a runner or look like a CrossFitter, or is it okay to look like both, I'm gonna tell you right now my opinion on the matter, because I feel like I'm very qualified to do so, as I do both very evenly. What I'll say about this, CrossFit affects running in a really positive way from my perspective. I feel extremely strong going up hills and difficult challenges in a trail race because I know I've laid the muscular foundation to do so. I have the glutes and hamstrings to get up those hills and to last up those hills. For the lower legs, I know that I've spent time working my ranges of motion, mobilizing and stretching daily to make sure I'm able to get my full best running form all the time. I'm just more hyper aware of my form because of the CrossFit. On top of that, I find that I am less injury prone. I've seen a lot of runners, I coach a lot of runners, and I can say that I feel like I deal with less issues than those who don't strength train at all. There are a lot of opinions on this. We'll get to the looks portion in a second, but I think there's this idea that the more muscle you have, obviously muscle weighs more than fat, the heavier you are, you're gonna pound the body more when you go out for those runs. From my perspective, the muscle was worth it. I am not in the gym deadlifting 600 pounds or constantly trying to build muscle. That's not my goal. I am maintaining my muscle to make sure that I have that injury prevention going for me, that I'm able to work smoothly and strong on every single run and not worry about over and over again pounding the pavement and obliterating my body, because I know I have defense against that. I hope that makes sense. From the other perspective, running affecting CrossFit. There are a lot of CrossFitters that don't want to be lean at all, or don't want to be skinny, I should say. They want to have muscle. They want to show their guns. They want to be working on that really heavy deadlift, that heavy back squat, and that's their main goal. Running, especially for a lot of men, takes that down, right? They feel they can't keep the muscle on if they run, and they feel like they really would box themselves out of opportunity to grow, literally, physically in the CrossFit gym. So they feel like that is taking away from their performance. I have found that for me, I last so much longer in a CrossFit Metcon, like I was talking about, than other people who don't work on their endurance training, because I know how to sustain a higher heart rate. I've worked on being out there for a long period of time, being able to breathe through the difficult parts. And I basically look at any long CrossFit piece as a run. Can I find my level of endurance and hold on to it? And on the other end of that, on those really short, crispy CrossFit workouts that are just meant for you to black out, not even know what's going on, just go as hard as you can, I'm not as good at those. And that's probably because I am most familiar with that middle range endurance effort level. So I like knowing that about myself. Both of these activities show where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, and if I am kind of medium, I say this a lot, but if I'm medium level at both of those, but I'm able to do both of those in a healthy way that makes me happy, hell yeah, that's all I'm looking for. So that's kind of the conclusion of this video, is that you need to do what makes you feel most proud, most inspired to continue going. That's important. And that's gonna leave you with the best endorphins. I get endorphins from every workout I choose to do because I make sure it's something I wanted to do in the first place. I enjoy getting my heart rate up. I like being sweaty. I like feeling hungry to eat those healthy meals I talked about, or that burger on Saturday night, whatever it is. But the balance there gives me more joy than breaking myself into one category, if that makes sense. When it comes to looks, Again, I could even do a whole separate video on this, but you need to be happy with how you look. And I know that I look this way because of the choices I've made. That is where my confidence comes from. A lot of people comment on my bulky arms, and I honestly can't wear a tank top here without somebody, usually a guy, commenting on my shoulders. And it's something I could be super offended by and like annoyed, and it's just like, I'm not pointing out what you look like and whatever. I'm not making this like a sexism video or anything. I'm just saying you need to take responsibility for choices you make like anything, and you're gonna feel confident and relaxed about how you live your life. I like how I look because I know why I look this way. My clothes fit how I want them to. If I ever feel throughout the year that I need to make different choices to get in a different sort of headspace with my training or the way I look, or I feel like I want to lean out a little bit, I'll do it because I know I have the tools to do so. So I just encourage you, whatever category you're trying to fit in or make peace with, know why you're doing it, and know that your training and eating are going to be what make you look that way. That feels obvious, but a lot of us just choose to ignore that part. And I encourage you to really look in the mirror. All right, I think I covered everything possible about this subject, but if I didn't, please drop in the comments any other questions you have, and also any requests for future videos. This came from you guys, and I plan to make more related to what you want to know about. So as we start this channel, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. I will see you in the next one.